Hi, this is Beck. Thank you for clicking on this video. I just had a lot of thoughts, and I just got an email from someone who subscribes to my page, and shout out to you because you inspired me to make another video. They just had really great words to say, very kind words, and it made me extremely happy. I've been having a lot of thoughts because I've been working through a lot of things, and especially since this shadow work video, stuff has kind of since then. So I wrote down a bunch of notes, and it might be a little all over the place, but if you're neurodivergent, you get it. So basically I want to talk about regulating your nervous system and then shifting from that, once you've become kind of pro at doing that, to your subconscious mind. So for the last 6+ months, I've been really learning how to regulate my nervous system, and my anxiety has pretty much gone away. When I have anxiety, it's almost like a little boop, 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 to either check in with myself and regulate, or maybe it's like a spiritual thing, like a message that I need to tune into, because it's kind of become so irregular. Going from having anxiety every single day to only having it once in a while is really helpful, because then you start being able to see what triggers it more and kind of tuning in to what you can do in those certain situations. Something that really helps me a lot is actually self-soothing in the moment. Like sometimes I notice, because my mom struggled with agoraphobia, especially the last few years of her life when she moved back to Chicago. It was not a good fit for her. She really liked calm and quiet, and I'm kind of experiencing the same thing, especially since I came back from living in a remote wilderness intentional community. It took me a long time to kind of adjust to my environment of being in a busy city. So when I have to go somewhere and I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be loud, there's a lot of people there, it's gonna be crowded, the lights are gonna be icky, the smells could be icky. Getting used to taking the bus again and just like fumes and all of the city smells has been pretty crazy. So I will get some anxiety, especially when I'm trying to figure out logistics of getting somewhere. I usually get anxiety from that, and just sometimes leaving the house after being in the house for so long. That's like that agoraphobia. I never really thought that I had like full-blown agoraphobia, but I definitely have some tendencies, and I feel that a lot of that comes from my mother, because I feel very similar to her in a lot of ways as I get older, which is crazy. And I think I've said this in other videos, but my mother did pass away in 2017 from a very terrible cancer. So I just want to give that context. But so she's kind of helping me in the spiritual realm. And I just got a text and that really distracted me. So when I'm about to leave the house, I get that anxiety, like, oh, how am I going to get there? What are the logistics looking like? This, that, and the other. And I just kind of self-soothe by talking to myself. So I'll be like, it's okay, like, we're gonna figure it out. We'll bring whatever items we need to make ourselves more comfortable, like sunglasses or headphones. We bought our ticket to go on to the bus or the train. We figured out what time we have to leave, getting my clothes together, just like telling myself all the things I've already done to know that it's going to be okay. And then once I get there, I sometimes get anxiety about who's going to be there and what type of people are going to show up and if it's going to be a safe space. And I just tell myself to not let those thoughts overtake me and to focus on the moment and just be myself as much as I can and find the people who I really resonate with in those groups. Because sometimes, as someone who is socially anxious, you'll just kind of attach to whoever gives you attention first, and that's a very big like neurodivergent thing as well. Like I'll be like sitting there not knowing what to do or say, and then someone will approach me and I'll start talking to them, but I'm noticing that just because someone finds you interesting doesn't mean you necessarily find them. Okay, my storage was full, which was crazy. I was just thinking about that earlier, so confirmation. Lots of synchronicities coming around. So if someone else thinks you're interesting, doesn't mean you necessarily find them interesting. So I'm working on going up to people who I find genuinely interesting and stepping out of my comfort zone in that way, instead of always just waiting. Okay, I did it again. Oops, I did it again. Every time that happens to a YouTuber, I'm always like, oh, not a big deal, just delete a few videos. No, it really makes you go in there, and then you start diving in. So I feel like that's a message all in itself. Since I have been kind of dealing with some past stuff. Yeah, so anyway, going up to someone who you find genuinely interesting and not just waiting for someone who thinks you're interesting to approach you, because that could really make you miss out on a real connection with someone wherever you are. Instead of going after that, you just go along with what that other person is kind of viewing for their ideal situation. And that's kind of the stepping out of my people-pleasing tendencies. So I was listening to a video from Conversations with Jay, which is Jadina, and I'm probably going to post a few links to people's channels in the description, because everyone else has been kind of helping me with this as well through a lot of YouTube channels. So she basically said that we're reclaiming the energy of your mind, and that's exactly where I am at. So through learning how to regulate my nervous system, I have stepped into looking at my thoughts and rewiring my brain and diving into my subconscious. Another creator named Janet, I don't know how to say her whole name, but I will also put the video below, let me know about affirmations, which are different than affirmations. So instead of saying I am something, like I am lovable, you say, why am I so lovable? And that kind of helps your brain accept it as true, because it's something you already are, versus trying to make yourself believe that you're something that you don't feel like you are. So why am I lovable reframes it and helps your brain kind of accept it as the truth, which I found really helpful. And then I've been slowly just becoming aware of my thoughts in general. Like, there was a few months ago where I was like, I feel like I'm at a war with my brain. Like, I'm thinking one thing, but I know the truth in that, and that's not it. That's literally your ego trying to protect you. So anytime you have these thoughts popping up where you're like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're not thinking that today. It's just your ego, like, constantly trying to be like, no, we have to stay small and protect ourselves. We have to stay in our comfort zone. It's scary out there. And it's like, we're not doing that anymore. I was going to maybe read a poem, but I don't want this video to be extremely long, so I haven't typed it up yet. So I think I will just post it later. Maybe I'll read it and post it on here. I don't know. But I described my brain, since I'm neurodivergent, ADHD, and autistic. I feel like all of my thoughts are just a tangled mess of string, and there's knots in the string, and it's all kinds of tangled. And over the years, especially since finding out how my brain works and the two sides of it, the one that wants to be spontaneous and have adventure, and the one that wants routine and structure and to know what to expect, it's like I've been slowly picking it apart and undoing the knots and trying to make it a nice ball of string again. And it's quite the process. So I wrote a whole poem about that. We'll see about if I post that. And then my other thing I wanted to talk about is how I've really stepped into what it means to be present. I would think, well, I'm here and I'm thinking about what I'm doing, so I'm present. But my brain would be thinking about a conversation I had with someone, or a mistake I made 10 years ago, or thinking about and worrying about the future and what I'm doing after I'm doing the thing I'm doing, instead of being fully immersed in it. And I think me, as someone who's neurodivergent, I just think I have never really been in the present. Like, there have been very few moments where I'm like, here. I'm either like disassociating and out in the ether, or worrying about the future, or dredging up the past. And I don't know if anyone else really resonates with that, but I just really don't think I have ever understood what being present actually means. But the thing that I really want to emphasize with when you're working through your subconscious mind stuff, it's a process. Like, I started with shifting some beliefs slowly as they came up, but then I've always had an issue with processing my emotions or knowing what I'm feeling, because my emotions were always shut down, or I was told to not feel them, basically. So I had a real hard time even knowing what my body was doing and what emotions I was actually feeling. So I've been working on that slowly. If you want a real word for it, it's called alexithymia, if you have issues naming your emotions. And just like knowing that it's not just an emotion, it's actually something that's in your body. So when you're rewiring your brain and talking to your subconscious in these new affirmation way, and really making yourself believe these things about you, wounds and lots of thoughts are going to come flooding in. Like, you're going to get memories, you're going to get thoughts from your brain where you're like, what are you talking about, brain? You're going to maybe get angry at your brain. I got angry at my brain. It's just going to flood in. And you have to sit there and you have to feel those emotions to release them. You have to journal. You have to do your shadow work. You have to see what part of your body is trying to talk to you and what they want. And then you have to thank your ego and tell them, hey, I really appreciate you. I think Janet talked about this in her video. I really appreciate you trying to protect me, but I got this from here. Okay? You have a new role. And give them their new role, because we're done. We're done with that. We're done. And it's going to be a lot, because I had so many thought patterns and things stacked in here that it's taken me like 2 years plus, 3 years. So 2026. Yeah, it's a lot. So that tangled mess is slowly becoming a nice ball of yarn. But there's always, it's like that whole healing is not linear. It's a spiral. And so you're going to revisit a lot of these things. And really the best thing about it is just trying your best to choose differently and to believe good things about yourself. Like, that's really what I'm learning, is I had so many thoughts about how I'm not worthy from the family that I grew up in and all the conditioning I've gone through. It really came down to not feeling like I deserve stuff or am worthy. But I'm telling you, it is your divine birthright to have abundance in all areas of your life. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to work hard for it. You get it right now as you are. And I do get stuck in this I need to heal loop. And I think I'm finally kind of stepping out of that, especially with the subconscious stuff. It's been blowing my mind. So I think the really only other thing I want to talk about is I went to go work out on my stationary bike down in the basement. Haven't used this thing in years. Bought it like 5+ years ago. All dusty, wiped it off. And I had a pile of books sitting on the shelf in front of it. And I was just kind of staring at the books like, oh, those are those books. They're like my dad's old self-help books. I had them all in my room at one point. But I wasn't ready to read them, you know? I just wasn't ready. My brain wasn't ready. My thoughts weren't ready. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know, I think I do want to start learning more about my subconscious mind and where all these thought processes are coming from and how I can really seep into it. I had been listening to like affirmations at night to kind of rewire, and that's been helping. Something weird that happens to me with that though is sometimes I feel like it gets turned off and I wake up like in the middle of the night and then all of a sudden it kicks back on. Like, it's like weird, like a mode in my body of like, it's almost like when I'm astral projecting, I don't hear it, but it's still going on. It's really odd. I don't know if anyone else has experienced something like that. So one of the books is called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. I don't know if this is going to be the right way for you guys. Probably, maybe, I don't know. It's by this guy, Dr. Joseph Murphy. This book is old. It's like from the 60s, I believe. Yeah, it's originally 1963, so this book is pretty old. But it's exactly what I needed right now. Like, I'm right here. This is exactly where I was at. So it was like chef's kiss. So the only warning I'll give about that book, if you do decide to read it, is there are a lot of Bible verses, and there's a lot of gender binary, heteronormative, traditional language, which is to be expected in a book like this from that long ago. But just to let you know, because I'm more so, I really enjoy reading these types of books, but being gender queer and non-binary, it's just kind of like irks me a little bit whenever every example is just about a straight couple, a woman finding a man, and he uses a lot of he throughout the book. There's not a lot of woman examples in the book, so it just kind of bothers me a little bit. The Bible thing, I just want to say, I did have a weird thing with God for a while. My journey kind of started out with God and doing witchcraft, and now over the summer when I was in a Lutheran-based intentional community, I got a little turned off by the whole God thing for a minute. It's been since then. And recently I've kind of come into it again. I've been listening to Real Kaya, someone else I want to link on here, another YouTuber who really just kind of cuts through all the BS in life and gets to the core truth. And I love that about her. I really have been binging her videos a lot. Basically that you are God. God is you. So anytime you read a Bible verse or this guy's talking about God in the book, just know that he's talking about you, because you are the creator of your reality. You are the divine creator, and anything that you want to make happen, you can make happen. So since I've been rewiring my brain recently and really focusing on my subconscious, things have been just better. I've been more positive. My mood has been better. And of course, it goes like this. Like yesterday, I was extremely exhausted and needed to go to sleep really early and sleep a lot. It happens. You're not regressing. You're just healing through things on a different level. A level that you can now handle because you've gotten up to that point. And sometimes you may feel like you're regressing, like you're relearning how to do certain things, because this is a version of you you've never lived before. So you may need to learn how to do certain things again in this new being that you are, because you have elevated. So yeah, I've just been really focusing on doing the affirmations. I did record myself, as Janet recommended in her video, saying like a long list of them that I enjoyed and want to focus on right now. And already in the last couple days, since my brain has been less negative thoughts and more positivity, and not that toxic positivity, it's really just like calling in stuff that you would like to receive and really believing that you deserve it and it is for you. Because if it's in your heart, if it's a desire, a dream, a vision that you have, it exists for you somewhere in a timeline that you are slowly becoming to receive. But you are able to receive that right now in present time, because you don't have to heal anymore to receive what you want, and you don't have to do any more work. You've done enough work. So I've been repeating that at night, listening to my video over and over again, and that's been really helping. And then during the day, anytime I notice a negative thought pattern coming through, my ego being like, well, we can't do that, and we shouldn't do this. And that's really what got me into a depressive state, is I was like, yeah, you're right, let's not do it. But then it would come up again. I'd be like, so excited, let's work on it. No, it really shifts everything. So I believe once you get your nervous system regulated and then you work on your subconscious mind, you're pretty much unstoppable at manifesting. And it's really exciting stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much my whole message. I know I bounced around a lot. I know that some of that might have been confusing. I did have someone, as I stated in the beginning of this video, reach out to me via email. I have my email below for neurodivination, my channel. And I also have updated my website and any of her socials I have listed. But my website's like the best thing for like all of my updates and what I'm working on right now. There are some somewhat outdated things on there I want to update, but if you are interested in getting coaching for mindful decluttering, I do have my link down below so that you can book a discovery call with me. And if you would also email, website, I think that's about it. Okay, I'm gonna go because my brain's kind of but thank you for watching this video, and thank you again to the person who emailed me. I'm really excited to continue making content and getting more messages out there. Have a good day. Bye.